Recently there have been a few sneak peeks of the upcoming string fruit coming to Grand Peace Online. We don't know much about what moves the fruit will have, but from the screenshots I think it's safe to say that the birdcage will definitely be a technique that the fruit has. While I am excited for this, there are a few more features and techniques that I would definitely like to see added as well. In today's video I'll be discussing the aforementioned techniques in detail and explaining how they could be added to GPO. The first move that I would like to see the string fruit have in Grand Peace Online is Black Knight. This technique involves the user of the fruit creating a clone of themselves out of compressed strings, and the clones are also capable of attacking opponents too. I think that if this feature was added into GPO, it would definitely be interesting and something that we really haven't seen in the game before. Perhaps these string clones could auto-target onto the nearest enemy, or maybe they could work in a similar way to how the Bunny Easter item works, in the sense that the fruit user would have full control over where they go and who they attack. This technique would definitely be hard to implement, but I think if it was done well, it would be cool to see in game. And yeah, just to conclude the discussion of this cloning technique in particular, I think the clones should have relatively low health and not do as much damage as the user of the fruit. The second technique that I think would be interesting to see in game is Skye's Path. A mobility flight type move is a great addition to any fruit's moveset, and I think that Skye's Path would be a perfect fit for the string fruit's mobility move in game. This technique simply involves the user of the fruit connecting strings to clouds, which then allow them to move through the air. I think this move is pretty self-explanatory, so I'll move on to the next technique. The third technique that I would like to see added is Spider's Web. Now this technique is quite unique relative to the other potential moves I've talked about today, as Spider's Web is mostly a defensive technique. This technique simply involves the user of the fruit creating a defensive web of strings which then protect the user from any incoming projectiles, and in order to give this move some offensive use in GPO, perhaps if a player came in contact with the web they become stuck and stunned. However, that aside, this move would still be really useful to see in game in a defensive sense, as it could be used to block high damage ultimate attacks like Skye or Magma Rain. The fourth technique that I'm going to discuss is one that will probably divide GPO players quite a bit, and that is the repair operation technique. Now this move basically involves the user of the string fruit using strings to stitch together their internal organs that have been injured, saving them from potential death. Now this could be added to GPO in the form of a simple healing move, or as some sort of counter move in which the user of the string fruit could save themselves from being knocked by an attack if the damage would reduce their health below a certain amount. The fifth technique that I would like to add to GPO is Parasite, and this move is more of an honorable mention than an actual suggestion, as I'm primarily mentioning it here because I just think it's a cool move and not so much that I really want to see it added to the game. So this move would be slightly harder than the other moves to implement and ultimately might not be worth adding, but I thought I would include it on the list anyway. This technique involves the user of the string fruit using strings to control another person. Now this move would particularly shine in 2v2 fights or wars in public servers, as you could take control of an opponent and then use their moves to damage other opponents before ultimately forcing them to jump in the water or something like this. Now if this technique was added, it would definitely need to be something that was carefully balanced so that it wouldn't become too OP, and furthermore I could think of a few techniques I would rather have than this one, and I wouldn't want Parasite or the aforementioned surgery technique to necessarily replace those that were perhaps more viable. Alright, those were all the techniques that I wanted to discuss today. If you enjoyed this video and you want to support my channel, then please consider liking, commenting and subscribing. With that out of the way, I hope you guys have a great day, evening, whatever times you guys, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Bye guys.